guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. And as you saw in the title, we are doing another reading vlog. So I really had a lot of fun doing the reading vlog last week. I thought, it was really good to be able to get my thoughts out in real time. So I do love reading vlogs for that reason. So I want to continue that as I work through my TBR, specifically books that I bought like last year, 2024 or before, because I'm pretty sure there are still some books out here that I've had since like 2023. So we're going to continue that. So you're going to get my thoughts, deep thoughts, in-depth thoughts about these books as I read them through the week. So today is Friday. I'm starting this on a Friday, and I'm going to do like a Friday through Thursday. That way the video could be up on Friday. So it's like another week of reading. I'm not necessarily going to be tracking time like I did the last time. I am going to pull out the timer if I need to get some reads in. But let me go ahead and talk about what I am currently reading that I started already before this vlog started. The first one is The 22 Murders of Madison May. This is by Max Berry. This is actually really good so far. It starts off with some action, which I like. Somebody is no longer with us already. And that's about all I know, because we've met some new characters. They're now, doing, the character Felicity is now basically the investigative reporter for the murder that has taken place. So now we're just getting into where they're digging in and they're seeing some really weird things at the scene of the crime. So that's where we're at in this book. I actually got this one from the Dollar Tree. I got it a while ago, so it's probably not going to be there, but it was a Dollar Tree find. So if it's really good, y'all can know, wait, I really need to explore these Dollar Trees. The next one is The Crash. Now, this is not a 24 TBR. This only been on my TBR for like a month because the book just came out, but I've been told it's good, so I'm reading it now. I will say so far, I like how the book opened. Frida's always gonna give you some twists and turns. So by the time we got to like chapter 5, I think the book had already twisted. I will say I wished that sometimes, I always feel like these authors go the traumatic route, and can we not have it be traumatic just because we're trying to have a thrill? I don't know if that makes any sense. This one does have some things that can be triggering in there when it comes to sexual assault, so just keep that in mind. But so far, so good. I do wish that the twist that we get right at the beginning was a different twist. Like, there was another reason for her to be on this road trip, because right now, this is about a girl who goes on a trip. She's going off and she gets stuck in a snowstorm. She gets in an accident, and then someone, Good Samaritan, helps her, and it goes misery. That's what I've been told. It goes misery vibes. But I have some thoughts though. Well, I had a different thought, but then when we got the twist, I was like, oh, well, that can't be it. But I do have some thoughts on what might be going on, so I'm very, very interested in that. And like I said, so far so good. Her chapters are always so short, so you get through them very quickly. These chapters are pretty short as well. It's a bigger book, so more words on the page, but still pretty short. The next that I'm reading, I was reading this in the other vlog, so it's Richard Osman's Be Solved Murders. Still love it. This is about a guy who owns a bodyguard protection agency, and one of his former clients is now taking out people he's protected. So of course it's not good for business, but they're trying to figure out who is actually doing these like hits for him, who's like actually doing the murders, and it involves another person who works for him at the agency, and her father-in-law is trying to help solve what's going on. So that's what's going on in that one. And the other one that I am listening to right now, and y'all are going to be surprised, especially if you watch the other reading vlog, because I was not talking the best about the book, because I was quite confused as to what's going on. But if you watch my reading wrap up, you'll see that things change. So I am reading Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. I will say that this book starts off way better than the other one. It is way more interesting and it's more intriguing. This one does actually give horror vibes. So I'm very, very excited about that, because this is a horror book. All the other ones are considered thrillers or mysteries. This one is horror. So I am reading this one. This one is actually really short. I'm actually listening to this one on audiobook because that was like the first one wasn't great. I listened to it on audiobook, but if I had read that, I would have been real mad. I'm only like little mad because the book wasn't that great. But this one, since I'm listening to an audiobook, but this one's actually very interesting. So I would have actually been excited to read this one. And the chapters are pretty short as well. They go by very quickly. I'm already like 2 hours into the book. I will say this one, well, I won't say there's not a lot of dialogue because this particular one right here, like when you look at the page, if this bothers you, like there's a lot of text where people are talking, but this book is about a play. So a lot of them is them reading the actual, not play, but the movie, which is called horror movie. It's them actually reading the movie, so you get that you're listening to that movie in your head. So even though like the written script, there may not be tons of dialogue, there is because you have the movie script. Now I will say that I love listening to this. So even though this would be something I would have been okay reading because it's interesting, I love listening to it because when they're reading the script, like you know how when they do table reads, people make mistakes. So there's like one scene where the guy just can't get the flow of the words right, and like everybody around the table is laughing like they're, because he's like, wait, what is going on? So they're like laughing because you know they're trying to get the vibe of the character in the read, and then you actually hear them flipping the pages in the set direction. So I'm a theater major, so that stuff, I was a theater major, I have a theater degree. That stuff excites me, so I am enjoying listening to this. So even though I would have loved reading this, and I think for someone who wants to read it and not listen to it, if you're not into audiobooks, which they help you get reading in. So I was not an audiobook girl until this year, and it helps me read, and it helps me read when I'm at work and driving, and the times that I can't sit and physically be reading a book. But this one here, the read is good, but listening to it is so good because I love like those things that they put into it. So it's really like listening to a movie. Like I love it. So those are the books that I am reading and listening to right now. We're already 4 in this vlog. So this is Friday the 30th. If any of these I finish, which I doubt I will, by tomorrow, they'll pop up in the video that you would have already seen before this one, which would be my monthly wrap up. But if not, they'll just be in the dream wrap up. But anyway, those are the books that we're going to be reading in this vlog. So I'm just going to keep kind of telling you what's going on. So I'll see you in a little bit. Horror movie. I'm going to say horror story. Horror movie. Yeah, I'm sitting on the step, y'all, because I was about to go upstairs to get my bed. And I have things in my reading chair that I'm normally sitting in. But yeah, horror movie. I'm going to say I'm good on Paul Tremblay's books. And the reason why is because I've read 2 books. Now, I do think Paul Bear's Club came out like years ago. This one came out last year. I believe. Yes, last year. When I bought it, the girl was like, oh, that's a good one. It was a new release. And I bought this like last July. So yeah, 2024. Paul seems to have a theme. And granted, I've only read 2 of his books, and he has at least 4 other ones. 2 I've read, and then I've seen 2 others like on the back of other books. And there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. So at this time, he has 10 books that are at least 9 are at least listed in here. And 2 out of these 10 books literally have the same theme. The person was raving over this, and they were talking about how good he is. And both of the books, the horror is usually, it's not a person, a killer, or it's just never that. And I'm like, damn, these books are actually sad as hell. Like, why? So this one, like I said, it started off so much better. It is shorter than the other one. Started off really great. And I think overall, this book was so good. One guy was like, this book is a piece of crap. And he didn't use the word crap. And he was like, I try not to do that. But he was like, when I was younger, I would do that. And people would get mad. Like, I read his review, so funny. I almost replied to it. And he was like, but when I was in my early 20s or something like that, he said, but now I'm 50. I'm in my 50s. And because he was like saying back then, people were like, oh, you're being so harsh today. But he's like, now I'm in my 50s and I don't care. This book is a piece of crap. And he gave it 1 star. He just went on and on and on. And it's so funny because the things he was saying, I felt like in that other book, The Pallbearers Club, it was all nothing until the end. And this one, I didn't really feel that way until I got to the halfway point. Because I still enjoyed listening to it. Because that's what I said when I first came on. Listening to this book is so fun for me. Because I just love how they're in the play, they're in the movie, and then they're in the book. And then the main character whose name is... oh my god, they don't even say his name right here, but the main character, the thin kid, I can't think of his name right now, but he is basically writing an audiobook, which I think is funny because in the Pallbearers Club, the guy was writing a memoir. So I feel like Paul just got a theme. Now, I don't know if the other 8 books like that, but 2 out of the 8. So this guy is writing an audiobook about his experience during this film. So they are up and coming, young. So the book goes back past and present, the past, the 90s, and then the present. And basically, they are making this movie, and they're young, small budget, whatever, and he joins his cast. And but the movie never comes out. The movie is actually titled horror movie. It never comes out. One interesting thing is the characters have the actual same name as like the director and the screenwriter, which can get confusing. So you really got to listen because I'm like, wait, are we still in the play or are we in real life? So the film never comes out because something happens. And but as he's doing the audio book, he is talking about this because someone wants to do a reboot of the movie that never came out because it just like fan base came. So certain things have happened to other cast members throughout this time in this book. And he is remaking the book. And you find out throughout the story what happened or whatever. Now, listening to, like I said, them first 2, 3, 4 hours, that's probably cool. 3.5, 4 hours. And then I was like, but I need you to tell me what happened. Because it does build to the thing that made the movie not come out. And you know a thing happened, but we don't get there. So fast forward to the end when we start getting to the meat, which is what he tends to like to do, those last 2 chapters. And we find out what happened. And just like with Pallbearers Club, it's like, this thing didn't happen to you. You know? And when I say to you, one of the characters in the book that he's talking about, and then it gets to the end, and then the person, in my point of view, went batshit crazy. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, am I still in the book? Or is this part of the new movie? It was part of the got me stuttering. It was part of his audiobook. So I'm like, oh, you lost your mind? And did you lose your mind because of what happened before? Like, because he pretty much kind of let this movie pretty much just take over his life. This one, I feel if you're going to read a book out of the 2 I've read, I would recommend this one. Do not read it. There is some language, although I don't remember a lot of language. And I will say, I've said this before, language for me doesn't matter as long as it's just you don't run out. And so sometimes if I can't remember language, that doesn't mean that language didn't exist. It just wasn't overused or misplaced, which won't stick in my mind. There's no like sexual content, but there is gore. There is warning of illness. Many types, actually 2 types of illness if you ask me. And I don't know if that's where we're getting at. Actually,
in more places than one. So illness, the physical kind, I'll say, and the mental kind, because I feel like maybe that's what they were trying to get to. So if you're gonna try one of his books, I would say out of the two I've read, try this one. It's not horror in horror's vein. Yes, they're making a horror movie and they talk about bullying is in this one, in the movie that is being made, but it's still bullying. So it's not, even though they're doing a horror movie, like, there aren't that many horror scenes. Yeah. I don't know about this one, but I'm about to go upstairs and get into the other ones. It was okay. I didn't hate it, but once again, it was like a whole, like somebody said, a whole bunch of, like 200 and something pages of nothing, and then you give me something. But the only reason I don't feel the way I feel, because the other one, I was like, this thing just keeps going on and on and on and on and on, and I don't see an end in sight. This one, because it actually had a story that was occurring in the present time, you knew, like, okay, we're getting somewhere. And this one was still far more interesting. It's still, I think the rating was like 3.3 or 3.6. It doesn't have, there are a lot of ones, but yeah, I'm good on him. I am going to get more into The Crash. I fell asleep reading it last night. I'm just at the part when she is being taken to the house. So she's already had the accident. She's being taken to the house. So that's where I'm at in this one. And these two I have not read any more on, but these are the three that I'm reading. I don't think I'm going to have...
pop in and say I'm confused now, because in true Frida fashion, I know there is going to be a twist, and the plane that we expect or what the other characters are expecting isn't the thing. But now I'm confused. Is it Mitch? Is he the problem? Because I don't know. Okay, that's it. I'm confused. This is the first twist, well, the second twisty thing that we're going to get that's just making this confusing. So I'm at chapter 21. I just read chapter 20, which is Polly's first point of view. So Polly is the wife of Hank, who helped Tegan out of the crash. So that's where we're at.
Oh, so I'm going to do a check-in. And I was debating whether or not I was actually going to do a check-in now, or I was just going to wait. Let me take these off, because every time I have my headphones on, my daughter's like, you are yelling. And it doesn't sound like I'm yelling when I have them on. But anyway, I am part 4. I think I'm a few chapters into part 4 of The Crash. And Frida ain't nothing but a Lifetime movie, okay? Like, that's what I'm realizing. Frida McFadden had to go give you good 90s Lifetime, okay? Because this is those thriller Lifetime movies where you just like, this. First of all, don't judge a book by its cover. Because normally I can sit there and I could be like, see, you should have did this, this, and this. But what I can say is that it's not even Tegan's fault that she's in the situation she's in, because she literally got injured. Like, because like a lot of times you read in a book and then they do something stupid and it's like, you can tell that's not the choice you should make. Charlie had no choice. But what I am going to blame her for is not leaving early. You knew there was a snowstorm. Why are you leaving your house in the middle of a snowstorm with a hoopty? A hoopty. I can't even get it out. You don't even have a good quality car. That's what I'm going to blame her for. But y'all, I'm like sitting here. First of all, you cannot judge a book by its cover, because that's why she in this mess. And my issue is, and I'm going to say they, because I don't want to give away too much. But if you didn't judge them so much, all these other people, your behind wouldn't you wouldn't consistently be in this situation. And my thing is, like, I'm at the point where I'm like, something should have clicked in your brain at this point. You should have a better game plan, because something at this point should have clicked. And are they not bathing this child? Because nobody's talked about a bath yet. And I don't know why, but that is bothering me, because I'm like, she in this bed for 3 days. This is happening over the course of, I think, like 3 or 4 days. Nobody's mentioned a bath. And I'm like, that's just making my skin crawl. That's just personal me. And that's the kind of stuff that I be looking at in books. It just be having me like, wait a minute. how is this healthy for anybody? Germs, bacteria. She pregnant. Like, so, yeah, but I do like it. Now, I will say, Frida need to stop ripping off other people's stuff, because I thought this was going to be Misery adjacent. This lady done pulled so much from Misery. I'm like, I cannot with you, Frida. But I can't stop reading it, y'all. I'm so into it, because one thing about a Frida book, even if I get to the end and I'm like, I still enjoy reading it, because like the way she writes it, you just can't stop. You can't stop. I actually do enjoy this one, I will say. Despite the fact that I'm just like, girl, if you pull in one more Misery moment, I'm going to have a problem. I'm going to write Steven. Because you're doing too much. But no, I am actually really enjoying it. I just need her not to be so clueless. And here's the other thing. The other, like, okay. So, I'm gonna say this. That way, if you read it, it don't. The thing that they're holding over the other person's head, it ain't even that deep. Like, it's deep, but it's not that deep when you look at what's currently happening. Like, you could get out of that situation, like, easily with a bad lawyer. So, like, the initial thing that they use. And, like, I don't, like, at that point, like, I would have been like, oh, no, boo-boo. This is not healthy. This is not live at all. So, you know, just don't be judging people. Don't be judging people, because then you end up like Tegan. But I'm almost done. I do enjoy having her books. I'm not gonna lie, because at least I know it's gonna keep me on the edge of my seat. If nothing else, she gonna have me on the edge of that seat. I will also say though, I need her to stop writing this book as if she's writing this book in like the 50s. Because if she refers to this girl being unwed and she's probably embarrassed because she doesn't have a husband, I'm like, girl, is this the 50s? People are not going to judge that woman like that. Like, I mean, there are people who are so judgmental, but it's so funny because the way it's written, it's like, this is like the 50s. Like, what is wrong with you, Frida? Like, but no, so far so good. It is good. It is like, after reading those last two Paul Tremblay books, this is a breath of fresh air.
Y'all, I'm back on the steps. I was gonna try to wait until tomorrow, but I did start an audiobook. It's Bye Bye Baby. This is one that is on my TBR, and it is actually very good. This is definitely a good thriller book. So this book is about two women, Billy and Cassie. So, and this is inside the inside book jacket. It basically says, my best friend is upstairs screaming her head off, and she should be, because she, you know, someone just took her child. And then she says, oh yeah, I remember that person was me. So she actually abducted her best friend's, air quotes, child. So the reason I put that in air quotes is because, first of all, Cassie, who is the best friend of Billy, the one who abducted this baby, is a complete butt. So they were friends growing up, and something happened. And this is a past present book. We are learning what has happened. But here am I, and you know, stealing somebody's child is never okay. But this girl is so, okay, I should have got my stand. Okay, let me use a step. This girl is so freaking annoying, and all of her friends are annoying. So it's almost like if she had just took the baby for like 10 minutes and then brought her back and be like, gotcha. But no, she's like so freaking annoying. So growing up, her dad did have money, but he like did a lot of bad investments, and the mom was like, nope, I'm cutting you off. So the mother, who is Cassie's grandmother, basically gave the dad one last down payment on a house, because they had to move out of like their fancy neighborhood or whatever like that. And that has caused division
Cassie doesn't interact with her family. The grandmother only really cared and looked after Cassie, even though she has another sister. But the sister pretty much is more on the dad side. It's like, that's your dad. Yeah, he made bad decisions. But it's not like the bad decisions put y'all on the street, because the grandmother did, in fact, help them out. And I mean, the grandmother was serious. She's like, nobody in this family will help you, because he has like other siblings, or at least one sibling. But she has basically always had her head focused on, I want money, I want riches, this is what I had. And, you know, she's leaning more toward her grandmother. Now, growing up, even though she had the grandmother that did all that, her and Billy were still friends. So I'm like, what happened? And there is like, friends to the point where Cassie's like called out other friends of Billy's when they said something she didn't like, protected her, you know, in different situations. And the thing that I think they are hinting to that caused an issue in their friendship is it's literally if it's this thing, Cassie was the one that was like, I got you, I'm never gonna let anybody hurt you, da, da, da. So I'm like, it seems like they're leaning to something that they did and that caused the issue. But I'm like, Cassie, you was always the one who was more, oh, I'm not gonna like let nobody bother us kind of thing. So fast forward is because it's going back and forth. Billy is still trying to salvage this relationship, and Cassie is just being so mean to her. Like, one scene, she's talking about her, how she doesn't want her around, and then Billy reaches out to her, so she invites her to this party. Oh, Cassie is an influencer. She's married rich, so she has the riches that she wants. She has the baby and everything. And that's kind of her friend circle. So my issue with her and why I'm like, might need to shake her up, is she talks down on Cassie. So, or people that don't have money. Like, even the way she talks about her sister's dress being cheap. Okay, everybody doesn't have to buy a $1,000 dress to feel good about themselves. Like, it's that kind of stuff that makes me like, I mean, don't steal nobody's child, but girl, you. And Billy just took it. Like, and that's the other thing. She would be fake nice to Billy. Like, when she did invite her to this party, she took a picture of everybody at this party, all of her new friends. Billy came with her boyfriend, and she cropped her out of the picture when she posted it on Instagram. Like, stuff like that. So, but I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know. We still don't know what the situation is. We don't know what caused the rift, and we don't know if she actually really took the baby. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like, what does she plan to take the baby? Like, I can't imagine she's planning to take the baby to say, hey, be my friend. Now, flashback, when she does go visit her parents, she does get a message from somebody that kind of shakes her up. So that probably has something to do with the past. But this one is a really good thrill, trying to figure out, like, what is this past situation between the two of them? What is this past situation that this other person is talking about? And what the heck is Billy doing stealing somebody's child? Because, girl, it's not good. It's giving hand that rocks the cradle, and we don't want that. But no, I just had to stop because they're getting to that point where it actually happens. So, yeah. But Cassie's a pain in the butt. Her and her friends, they're just not really nice. It's like, y'all 35. Y'all are mean girls. But yeah, this book is getting really, really good. I'm very excited to keep reading it or listening to it, because I am doing this one on audiobook.
And real quick before I forget, the other thing that Cassie is pretty much belittling Billy, her ex-best friend, is about the fact that she doesn't want to have kids. So, like, all the people that she's with now, they have kids, they have husbands, and Billy doesn't really think she wants to have kids, and she's making it seem like, oh my gosh, she's like the worst person in the world. Now, I will say, I think I already said this, but Billy does have good friends who are like, you don't need to be friends with this girl. She is actually dating somebody who's good for her and she likes, as I know right now. So yeah, that's the crazy thing. The other crazy part is the person that she is besties with now, this Cassie girl, is somebody who didn't even want to be friends with her in the beginning. Like, didn't even want to be your friend because she did not have money, like wealth herself. So I'm just like, girl,
But I just wanted to pop in and say that part because I don't think I said that.
Y'all. So now it's time for me to wrap up this reading vlog with the last 2 books I read, and it is The Crash by Freida McFadden. I finished that, and then Bye Baby by Carola Levering. Levering. So let's go ahead and start with this one. I did this one completely on audiobook. This book, overall, I think this book is one of those books, you know how you read the books and it's like the author doesn't really want you to like the characters. Because me personally, by the end of the book, I didn't like either one of them. I didn't like Billy because, one, I really thought there was going to be some other twist. Because we already know she was going to take the baby. But I thought there was going to be like some other twist in there as to why she took the baby and what like the outcome would be. And like when the kidnapping happens, like literally y'all are gonna be like, really? Like, okay. But it just isn't. I'm like, what was your goal? And I don't really think she knew what the goal was. So I guess I wish the author would have given us some more with the whole kidnapping. I don't know. But anyway, I just feel like I just wanted her to grow a backbone, because the other character who I absolutely didn't like at all, Cassie, literally is a user. And at first I thought it was specifically like Billy, but I think a user is literally just her personality. And there's something that Billy says that actually kind of confirms that when she thinks things through about like what happened in the past, which is, in my opinion, the most thrilling part as we're building up to what happened. But kind of like after you get that, everything is just kind of like a really unhealthy relationship that was probably always unhealthy. But Cassie literally just kind of used everybody, in my opinion. Like, if they didn't serve her in that moment, and it wasn't just Billy like I originally thought, but if I think about like other characters and their interactions, it's like if they weren't doing what she wanted them to do or be who they wanted to be, it was like a problem. I will say the ending, can I say somebody learned something? Yes. And then one of them didn't learn anything, in my opinion. Like, I feel like they're literally the same. So, I'm going to leave it at that. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't really super thrilling. Everything thrilling was really the backstory. And then she also threw this thing in to kind of make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm about to get this big thrill or this big twist. And it literally was nothing. So, the last book I have is The Crash by Freida McFadden. Y'all finished it up. So let me say this, because I was reading the Goodreads. Why somebody say this book is like if Timu wrote Misery. And I laughed. But here's my thing. I feel like Freida, because I'm going to give her this one. I really did like this one. And I think with me and Freida, I'm expecting 90s Lifetime. And I feel like she gave me that. Like, she did put her little spin on it. Like I said earlier, I was like, girl, you got one more poll for Misery before I'm like, okay, I need to write Steven and be like, we need to have a conversation. But she had her own little twist in there. And I will say, I didn't expect the twist. And that's one thing about Freida will give you a twist. Even if sometimes you side-eye her twist, she's going to give you a twist. So I like this one. I would probably say, I would like Housewives 1 and 2. Or is it, what's that? Housemaids, not Housewives. Housemaids 1 and 2, I really liked by her. I would put Crash on that list and Never Lie. So I would say out of all the books that I've read by her, those are the 4 that I like the best by her. And this one, I do think it's worth reading. It is so easy to read. Like I said, you can't be judging a book by its cover, but it gave a good twist. Now, like with Never Lie, I don't know if I like how this ended though, because I'm kind of like, I don't know if I like that little wrap up. Like, I
don't know. Not the in with. I'm talking about with the one that was going a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I don't know how I feel about that ending. But I liked it. So I would definitely say go read this one. Because it gives you misery for sure. But Frida does her own little thing in there as well. I will say she probably could have shortened it a little bit. Maybe taken some things out. I will also say that I think like Frida is like isn't she like a neurologist or something like that? Or she does something with like nerve things, because I've heard like that's like she kind of writes her books for people who have like brain, I don't know, but I don't know for sure, but I feel like that's also kind of why because sometimes I'm like, why it gives me C-Spot Run, but it makes it also easy to read, and I like that, I'm not gonna lie. But super cute. This one I got from Barnes and Nobles. It's their exclusive edition. So inside, if you're into that kind of thing, they do give you like a playlist and you could just scan the QR code. I didn't listen to it because I can't really listen to music and read a book at the same time. But I definitely enjoyed this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this reading vlog. I was going to do another one, but I might start it on my next trip. So I might have another reading vlog coming up, like just me reading random books. If not, I do have 2 reading vlogs, one being like a series that I'm planning. So just, we're gonna have some more reading vlogs. And like I said, I like them because I can give you my thoughts in more real time. So thank you for watching. For those of you who are new, my name is Sho'Shanna. For those of you who keep coming back, thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next one.